All right, today we get to talk about all the series that I've read and continued, started in spring, and what I plan to do in the summer, because if you're new, these are my kind of check-in, accountability videos that I've been doing since the start of my channel 3 years ago, some ungodly amount of time ago. And I do it just because, although I'm never overwhelmed by how many series I'm in the middle of, I want to make sure I'm not forgetting about something, or if I notice that I really am not grabbing something, recognize that series has been let go. You have DNF'd that series, Angela. It will not happen. So it's just like sort of structural planning of intention. So when I make my monthly TBRs, I know what I should be pulling from, what I should put on some holds for at the library, etc. And when I do the wrap-up, I'm not going to go too much in depth into my thoughts since they've been in other wrap-ups on the channel. But if I have reviews or wrap-ups or videos, I will point you in that direction. And let's go. So I think I've only finished, well, I guess maybe I've finished 2 things this series, which like honestly makes sense because I finished so many things in my winter series wrap up, I didn't even know how I did it. But this one I finished 2-ish, sort of. The first one for sure is a complete finish, and that's the Drowning Empire trilogy by Andrea Stewart. I have a should you read for this, so I will for sure point you there. And yeah, it's something that I don't regret finishing, but also it was kind of a bummer of an ending for me. Like I said, I'll just point you to that video for more thoughts if you want to know more, but I finished it. It is done, and that's quite an accomplishment because it's been on many a series TBR. Like many. That was kind of one of those things where like every quarter I'd be like, and you know, if I could, it'd be great to get to the Drowning Empire series, and now it's done. I finished it. The other one that I'm saying is more of like I started and continued, but technically could be maybe sort of a finished arc within this grander series, and that is Vorkosigan Saga. I've read Cordelia's Honor, which is like 2 books that sometimes are even sold as a bind-up. So this is Shards of Honor and Barayar. And so those 2 I have read. Regardless, I'm also good with just counting this as started and continued in a series. I am so excited about this series. I don't really know how to talk about it other than I'm having a great time. Both times I've read both of these books, they have been wonderful weekend reads where all I wanted to do was read them, which is basically why I read. It's the type of epic sci-fi stuff I love, so this is very exciting. This was not in my plans. I didn't know I'd be starting this beloved series this year, and I'm very, very excited about it. Another one that I've been continuing with as I expected, and that's the Red Rising Saga, because we've been doing live shows for this. I'll have a playlist for all the live shows down below. We recently did Iron Gold on Alex Nieves' channel, so you can still enter into that giveaway in the comments there. They are very cute. They are Sophocles-related gifts this time around for the Iron Gold live show. And yeah, we read through Iron Gold, and so that is what we've accomplished. That was the plan, so I'm doing great there. I have accomplished more than I expected in the Dandelion Dynasty. I have read Wall of Storm, which has been on many a series TBR, because I read The Grace of Kings June of last year. And then I didn't pick up Wall of Storms till this spring. So that was a larger gap than I like between books, but I knew I probably could do it because of the scope and the scale of the story, and I was right. The story generally reminded me of what I needed to know from Grace of Kings, and we follow largely a new cast of characters, so it doesn't really matter too much because, like I said, of the scope of the thought experiment that is Dara. And I love the Wall of Storm so much that I just went right into the Veiled Throne. I'm about to pick up Speaking Bones very soon. We'll talk about that in the TBR portion, but that is to say, making great progress. Very, very happy. Wall of Storms is easily one of the best books I've read this year, so yeah. And if you want to know my thoughts on Grace of Kings, I do have a standalone review for that book. Other ones I just started. So the Protectorate series, this is Velocity Weapon. We have a live show on my Patreon, so if you want to become a patron, you can look at our thoughts there. We have a Patreon part of the Discord, we're chatting about it. People have already finished the trilogy, and I am very excited to continue because this was just a really fun, twisty, turny space opera time. And yeah, it was great. I haven't gotten to read something like this where it still has characters I care about, it still has intriguing plot and world building, but also at its core, it's this action-packed, kind of momentum forward reading experience, you know? It's not very slow paced. It's pretty action packed, and that was very enjoyable. So that was awesome. Another one that I've read 2 books in is the Rainwild Chronicles. So yay! I finished the first book, because if you don't know, there are the 4 books in the series, but it's kind of 2 books split into 2 parts. So I've read Dragon Keepers and Dragon Haven. This has been good. I don't think it's the best that I've read in Realm of the Elderlings like most people, but I'm enjoying the characters. I'm enjoying the journey, learning about the world, you know, standard stuff, and the buddy read with Grace, Ben, and Stephanie has been super fun. And the last thing, well, there's 2 more things I started, and one's going to be a DNF, I think. Like, I'm not going to keep going. And the other one I will tentatively. It depends on when the next book comes out, because I'm caught up on both of them. So I guess both of these could change their course depending on reviews I hear and stuff like that. But the one I'm currently planning to continue is the series is called Warring Gods. This is The Sun and the Void is the first book in the series. I read this. I had a very mixed experience with it because of its pacing and its character work, but the ending was strong enough that I was just like, I kind of want to know what's going to happen next because I see what you're doing here and how you've set it up. But that said, if it takes more than a year for the second book to come out, I don't really want to reread the first book. So it's going to be very dependent on my mood when that second book comes out. It's going to be very dependent on how much I can pick up as I pick up the second book, because I don't want to reread the first one because it was such a difficult experience for me. So we'll see. And then the one that was actually probably a stronger reading experience, but I'm less interested in going forward, is The Adventures of Amina El-Sarafi. I'm sure this will be a trilogy or 5 books or something. It has it set up to be a very episodic series, which is fun, just not my thing. And I just need to accept it's not my thing and let it go, which is sad because it was pretty fun for what it was. Like, for its version of its thing, it's one of the best forms I've read, but that still made it like a 3.5 to 3.75 star experience. It was still a little long for me. I like the characters a lot. I think they're fun, but I just would rather watch it. I would rather watch it than read it. I don't have that many hours in my life to commit to reading something when I would rather be consuming other entertainment. And I can get these types of stories in other ways, like going to watch Dungeons & Dragons or Guardians of the Galaxy 3 or something like that. Like, there are ways that I get this type of story experience that works better for me and my tastes. So I think for that reason, I'm probably not going to continue unless reviews make it seem like it's suddenly not the type of subgenre of fantasy that it is. We'll see. So that's, the wrap-up. Things that I didn't get to. I did not get to Malazan, and it's not going to be in the TBR section. I'm going to still read Malazan. But I think I just have to accept, when I was writing down all my plans, that it wasn't going to happen in the summer. So I think it's going to be a fall-winter, and maybe I'll give it the Dandelion Dynasty treatment and just really see how much I can sink my teeth into it. We'll see. I'm not promising anything, but that's why it wasn't in the wrap-up, and it's not going to be in the TBR, but I haven't given up on Malazan or anything. It's just that I have to accept sometimes that I have limitations. And then I didn't read Vila 2, which is a podcast audio experience I've been listening to. I might still get to that. I just haven't been prioritizing audiobooks, like at all. So that's a problem. And I did not read Empire of Sand. But I guess getting into the TBR, I am putting Empire of Sand by Tasha Suri on the summer TBR. It feels like it's going to be a great summer fantasy romance. I would really like that. I do not know why I cannot get myself to read this book by an author who writes a trilogy that I love. I do not understand. I'm just going to keep throwing it on the TBR until something happens. We'll see if it happens. Hopefully it's worth it. I have so many friends who have similar tastes to me who love this book. I cannot wait. So that's one carryover that I didn't get to that I'm definitely putting on the TBR. And then some of the other ones kind of make sense. We're going to continue Red Rising. This summer, we are going to catch all the way up through Lightbringer. So come when I check in again, we will have read everything that there is to read in Red Rising, except I'm not reading the graphic novels. I don't think. I'm not that much of a fan. I like it, but I don't like it enough to go buy the graphic novels or try and see if my library has them. Especially since I'm not really a graphic novel reader. Again, I'd rather the pictures be moving. I like watching animated things quite a lot. And I know it's a different experience, but that's just who I am. And then I'm going to finish the Dandelion Dynasty. Like I said, I'm about to start Speaking Bones. Actually, by the time you're seeing this video, I probably already started it. But as of filming it, it's currently just set up on my Kindle, waiting for me. So I will be finishing the Dandelion Dynasty. And then other plans are to finish the Protectorate series. So this is Chaos Vector, and I don't know what the third one's called, but it's a yellow cover. Because we read these every other month. So we're reading it in June. We're going to discuss it probably the end of July. And then we'll read the other one in August. So by the end of summer, I will have finished it. And then also in July and August, we're going to be finishing up Rainwild Chronicles for that buddy read. So yeah, we'll see where I land on this. And then I'll only have one more series left in Realm of the Elderlings, which it's really interesting to me how many big series I've been wrapping up recently that I've started like 2 or 3 years ago. It's just like, I don't know what to do when I no longer have these things around. I guess I could start over. But I'm also very excited because there are so many other like large series that I'm starting to like learn about and new authors I haven't read from yet, like with the Verkosigan saga, which I'm definitely continuing in because I have not had as much fun as I've had picking up her books. This is a completely new author for me. I know she's not new to the genre. Has written many things in fantasy and sci-fi, and I plan on finishing Verkosigan, all 16 books in that, before moving on to some of the fantasy stuff I've heard about and maybe other sci-fi stuff. I don't know. but I'm happy, and I'm going to continue reading that probably in about a 1 book a month-ish time frame. I won't like for sure sign myself up for that, but they're short books and they're really engaging for me when I do pick them up. So that would be the hope there. And now these other two are kind of why I'm like, realistically, Angela, you're not going to get to Malazan. You have these other plans, because these are like my big reread things. So if you don't know, 2 of my favorite book series have books coming out in August. So Rook in the Rose, book 3, comes out in August. I already have an arc. I already have access to the end of the story. Have I read it yet? No. Partially because I want to reread the first 2 books. So probably when I get back from my trip to Columbia, so in July, I would like to start rereading Mask of Mirrors, Liar's Knot, then get into the Labyrinth. And I'm sure there'll be buddy read chats going on in the Discord, like very impromptu. I'm just so excited. I'm so excited. This is one of my favorite series. I am loving that a lot of people who I know have similar tastes to me have been picking it up the last couple years and really loving it as much as I do. It's just a great thing to feel, because it's just feels like one of the ones that could have been bigger than it is, but it didn't get the marketing attention, which is fine. Not every book gets to have the same marketing budget, but it's a really fun time. And so I'm very excited to continue having this fun time. So yeah. And then Karen Lord has a new book coming out in August. And I don't even actually know the name of this series. At first I thought this was just a new sci-fi book by Karen Lord, because a lot of her books are very self-contained thoughts, but some are in the same worlds as others. So like Redemption and Indigo and Unraveling are in the same place, and The Best of All Possible Worlds and The Galaxy Game are in the same place. And I just thought this third book was just a sci-fi story, The Blue Beautiful World. And then I found out it's a third book in the world of The Best of All Possible Worlds, and there are threads that I've been hoping to get resolution for. They're not necessary, but like I have questions about characters that I've met, and I don't know where they are, and I don't know if they're okay, and I'm hoping maybe I'll get answers. If not, regardless, I'm very excited about this third book. And then the first 2, Best of All Possible Worlds and Galaxy Game, are getting reprints with new materials, like new short stories and chapters. So obviously, like, I would have wanted to reread them anyways, but now it feels absolutely essential for me to reread them. And so that's my plan. I'm going to go get the new versions and reread them, and then get ready to read the new one. So this is a lot. There are a lot of books on this list, and if I have the steam to add on a Malazan, I will. I don't predict that at all, and per usual, there's usually stuff that ends up being on this list that I don't even predict, because I don't always know what I'm going to pick up. You know, sometimes it's like, oh, I didn't even realize this was the start of a new series. For example, I don't know if I'm going to read Fourth Wing. I might, and if I do, that's the start of a series. I'm very tempted. It seems like my type of, like, brain's not going to function but have a great time book. We'll see. No clue. But yeah, that is the spring series wrap-up. Summer series TBR. Let me know which you're planning to get to this summer. Are you going to join on any of these? Because a lot of these are buddy reads. Red Rising, Protectorate, Verkosigan, Rook in the Rose. I mean, I'll start a Karen Lord buddy read if anyone wants to join me. I just feel like I'm usually by myself, which is totally fine, but truly underappreciated sci-fi fantasy author, let me just say. But that's it for this video. If you don't want to write a comment but just want to let me know you're here, leave an earth as an emoji, because worlds, blue beautiful worlds and stuff like that. Yeah, I think that works. And otherwise, like if you liked it, subscribe if you want to, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.